So I want to talk about this new game, Cyberpunk 2077. This is not a review, it's actually just something I want to talk about the way the game is being greeted. This is an RPG, a role-playing game that is based on a pen and paper role-playing game that was kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. This takes place in Night City, a fictionalized dystopian city in California, although why you would need to fictionalize a dystopian city in California when you could just pick one, I don't know. One of the things about this game is you can choose your character, not only choose your character, but you can choose your character's genitals. And I'm just imagining, what it would be like to have a 13-year-old boy choosing his character's genitals. If a 13-year-old boy could invent himself as a character with female genitals, he would never leave his own room. I remember when I was 12 having discussions about how do women ever leave the room when they could just sit and admire themselves and touch themselves. And I think that's I think is what they're going to be playing into, but they think what they're going to be playing into is this wonderful woke transgenderism. Well, nothing, as you should know, as of course you know, is ever enough for the woke. You can never be woke enough because the point of being woke is to be woker than thou. So even though they have these transgender characters all over the place and you can make your character transgender, which the idea of two 13-year-old boys in a room discussing which genitals to give their characters is just too comical for words. However, this is being attacked by various critics as just not woke enough, because you're never woke enough because they have to be woker, because that's where the virtue of being woke comes from. So just to choose one, there's one from Polygon Review from a writer who is a trans person and doesn't like the fact that, for instance, there are ads for a beverage in this that feature a female-coded model, I have to use this word, with a penis visible through her skin-tight clothing, making it clear that in Cyberpunk 2077, trans bodies are objectified and commodified. Some cis bodies are too, of course, but the crucial difference is that we constantly meet, interact with, and form relationships with cis characters who have far more dimension than the surface of any sexualized image on a billboard. The same can't be said of trans characters. Even if you opt to play as a trans V, that's the character, she's not particularly well defined. The game is about what you see through her eyes and what she goes through, not about who she is as a person. And there's so many things I could say about this, so many ways in which all of this trans stuff is such a fantasy and so foolish and so ridiculous, but that's not what I want to talk about at all. In our country, hopefully, this trans writer can have any opinion she wants. She can have any point of view she wants. She can, or I don't know if she's a she or a he, I'm not sure which trans she is or he is, or it doesn't matter to me at all. I'm perfectly happy for her to live as herself, as long as I can live as myself and refer to her by whatever pronoun I please and discuss that situation in any way that I please. However, this is a stupid way for anyone to approach a cultural work. It's stupid, it is limiting your own mind. Probably the worst mistake I ever made was smoking cigarettes. I got addicted to cigarettes. It's the only thing I've ever been addicted to, and I had to quit cold turkey. It was a long, long time ago, but now there are a lot of alternatives. One of them is Lucy Nicotine. This is a company founded by Caltech scientists and former smokers looking for a better and cleaner nicotine alternative. Here is a tobacco alternative that doesn't suck. Lucy has created a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine that comes in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, pomegranate. Lucy also has a lozenge with 4 milligrams of nicotine in cherry ice flavor. It's 2020, so you want to get rid of your cigarettes, unplug your vape, throw out your dip, and get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. It's the real deal. A subscription to Lucy comes directly to your door each month. It's so simple, and you don't have to leave your house because Lucy has delivery down. Andrew Klavan listeners, go to lucy.co and use promo code Klavan to get 20% off all products, including gum or lozenges. That's lucy.co and use promo code Klavan at checkout. I have to give you this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Lucy.co, and be sure to use that promo code Klavan. It's spelled K-L-A-V-A-N. One of the reasons that we have the arts, one of the reasons we tell stories, one of the reasons we have pictures that we look at and play video games is to let other minds into ours. That is part of what we used to call loving your neighbor. Loving somebody is allowing their point of view to come into yours. Art is practice for love. It is, that's what it is. Art is a way of communicating the human experience, my human experience, to you through metaphor. There's no way for me to describe what it feels like to be alive. There's no way for me to describe that. The simplest question about, a baseball player pitching a no-hitter, how did it feel, champ? He will immediately go to metaphor. He will say it was like waking up on Christmas morning. He will tell you a story about how he feels, because there's no way to communicate how it feels to be alive except through metaphor, except through music, pictures, stories, right? And when other people make works of art, they are communicating their experience to you. They are broadening your experience by putting their experience inside you. So I, for instance, like reading works of art, like reading books, seeing movies that have a different point of view. It doesn't bother me to see a woke movie. But if I went around and insisted that every work of art have my conservative, right-wing, pro-American, pro-freedom point of view, I would never expand myself at all. I would never be able to understand the world at the level at which I understand it, which comes about, a lot of it, not just through living for a long time and keeping my mind open, but through the arts, which help me to keep my mind open to other points of view. The entire idea of woke art is a mistake, and it's a stupid mistake that makes you more and more stupid. This person, this writer, and all these writers who are attacking Cyberpunk 2077, and all of them who are attacking all the arts as not representing their point of view, are making themselves smaller and smaller and smaller, and eventually will be so locked down within their own consciousness that they have no tolerance whatsoever. And this is why the people who parade themselves as tolerant are actually the most intolerant people in the country. The arts expand your mind, but they can't do it if you shut them down whenever you disagree with them.